Welcome back to episode 111 of AyyScare Plays Front Office Football 8. If you're just tuning in, we are the general managers of the Jacksonville Cougars. Last year we went 9-7 and we did not make playoffs. And we kind of have a weird situation going where I'm really not sure what to blame it on at this point. But in short, our defense throughout this entire series has been rocking it, and our offense, not so much. So let me just show you guys real quick what I've kind of been looking at here. So going into next season, let me actually sort it this way because I think there's one or two injuries that are throwing things off. Going into next season, we should have an absolutely stacked offensive line. We're going to have this center who's so apparently the best player on our team. We have a right tackle who we drafted this past episode, and he seems like he's going to be rocking it. We have this young guard who's also supposed to be rocking it, and then tackle, guard down here, both in the mid-50s. This theoretically should give us probably the best offensive line in the league. At least I would guess that we should easily be in the top 5. Our defense, as always, is looking really good. Our front 4, technically we're running a 3-4, but our 2 defensive ends and our 2 nose tackles are all super high rated. We have a number of good middle linebackers. Our secondary is good. The only thing that we're really missing on our defense is some form of like an outside linebacker. We are kind of around like the 20th out of the 32 teams in terms of getting sacks. So getting an outside linebacker may be worthwhile, but I think the real answer here is we need to figure out some form of a weapon for our quarterback, which I know I've said it in a couple of episodes now, but in short, in the past episodes, there really has not been a great choice for us to bolster that. So we've kind of been putting our eggs in other baskets, but I think there has to be a point where we say, okay, this is now the fault of our quarterback not having great weapons, or this quarterback is highly overrated. It's one of the two. If we look at Harry McGee, as a reminder here, we spent 3 first-round draft picks on this guy and 2 second-round draft picks. He's remained healthy, which is great. He did have an up year last year, but I would say it was probably his second best year out of his 5 years so far. And I have a hard time saying any quarterback that's only throwing 23 touchdown passes in a season is a good quarterback. You know, you can have your up and down years, but in 5 years where you've been the starter the entire damn season and the best you've done is 23 passing touchdowns, it's just not good. Now, he does do some rushing, which is cool. He puts up normally around 400 yards on the ground, but it's not like he's putting up many touchdowns there either. Throughout all of this, our running game has also been probably bottom 3rd in the league. So we're at a point now where we either need to get this guy a prime target and see if that bolsters him into actually being a worthwhile quarterback, or we need to look at trading him. That's the other thing that I've kind of had going in the back of my mind. Other teams might still be hyped about him like our coaching staff is, so we might be able to ship him off somewhere for like a more experienced quarterback and also get a draft pick in return or something like that. So I think I'm going to look at what is available for us in the draft and free agency and then kind of make a decision at that point. With that, let's go ahead and hop on in. All right. Go ahead and retain staff. Now we have a number of staff that are up for renegotiation this year. I think we are going to go ahead and re-sign our head coach. As a reminder, our head coach started as our defensive coordinator, and he became our head coach, I think it was 2 years ago now. And he has very good bars across the board. If we do end up picking up some kind of secondary asset, he should be able to bolster them up, and his bars are just overall very good. So we'll give him the raise. That being said, I think I am going to hold off on the 2 coordinators. In my opinion, so far with this game, it's hard for me to tell how much of a fault our coordinators are in all of this. So that might be a good thing to swap out and just see if that helps our team out. So let's go ahead, hop into the staff draft. All right, head coach. We're not planning to make a move here. There is one coach that's considered a better option by 2 points, but I think we're just going to stick with our guy. Our guy's been with our team, and he hasn't proven himself not worthy yet. So we'll keep him as our coach for now. All right, let's take a look here. So Rico Warner is considered the best, or at least the most suitable person to become our offensive coordinator. Discipline, I'm pretty sure, is head coach, so the fact that that is a 0, I don't think matters too much. He has decent play calling. That's at least somewhere around like a 60, if we consider this 0 to 100. Okay, let me just look at 1 or 2 of these other options. This guy's bars, I think, overall are better, but his play calling is a little bit lower, and play calling is a big thing for your coordinators. So let's take a look at 1 or 2 other ones here. One thing that we've been talking about is if we ever get a shot at a top running back prospect, if we thought that was going to be our goal, this guy actually wouldn't be a bad choice, just because he's very good at that young talent and scouting and interviewing, and he focuses on running backs. The fact that his play calling is below 50, though, is a red flag to me. Here's an interesting option, and so he's basically above 50 on everything besides motivation, and he's focused on wide receivers, which, again, an area that we're looking to improve on. Let me just do a quick search on that offensive style. I don't know why. This help file thing does not like my dual monitors. Okay, there we go. Let's look at offensive philosophy. All right, so he's considered spread. So we're looking at finesse run, short slant, short pass. Which, again, that should run in to exactly what my quarterback strengths are. I believe that we were running West Coast before, which was kind of the same thing. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It focused on finesse run and short slant, but this would include a little bit more short pass for us, and also a little bit more long pass. Okay. Let's give him a shot. So he's considered 4th on this list, but I think his bars make the most sense for us. Defense. All right, now there's a guy that is considered the absolute best suitable by 8 points. His bars look great. He's a young guy. Ooh. Now, only downside to this, we're going to have an offensive and defensive coordinator, both with 0 years experience, which is not ideal, but this guy definitely looks like the best option. These bars are actually pretty ridiculous. This guy could become a head coach potentially in the future. So let's give him a shot here. He also focused on linebacker, which could be good for us since that is probably the one weakest spot in our defense right now. Let's see here for our assistant coach. I kind of want somebody that focuses on offense, and that's the guy that we already have. So we'll just keep him. We'll skip that pick. And there's technically a strength coach that's considered a 2 better suitable, so let's just go ahead and upgrade that. And we are good to go there. All right, we'll set ticket pricing. Let's take a quick look at this situation, because this situation is a problem for us this year. We have very little cap space to work with, and there are a couple of players here that, if we look in the contract, you see all these guys here with 1 year. We're going to need some money to re-sign some of this. We're going to release this guy just because we're paying him so much. Right now, I'm just kind of looking at players that we're probably overspending on. This guy did go for almost 50 tackles last year, but that's money that we're going to need to re-sign some of our better players. Middleton is finally going to be shipped elsewhere this year, unless we re-sign him in free agency, but he's a unrestricted free agent this year. We did get this guy, Casey Burnett, who I'm keeping an eye on. We got him in the 3rd round, I believe it was 2 years ago now, and he's slowly progressing. But now that Middleton looks like he'll be off our team, this guy does go into our backup slot. So hopefully we see these bars fill in with red a little bit more throughout this season. Let's take one look at who we're paying the most. Harry McGee is our top paid player by a crap ton. We have Nicholas Patino. How did he do last year? I know he's very highly rated. So he actually had a little bit of a down year, but his bars are still crazy, so I don't have any problem keeping him around. Pedro Garber, he might be a guy worth cutting now. What is his contract looking like? Contract. How do I actually see the... Why do I always forget the very... Okay, it's a button down there. So we are going to be paying him a crap ton. He did go for 800 yards last year. And he also caught for 500. Actually, okay, you know what? We are probably overpaying him, but those are decent numbers. And chances of us getting something better than this are probably relatively low. So we will keep him on board. That looks good to me. Our wide receiver situation is such a crapshoot. I feel like we should just cut both of these wide receivers. It's just, I'm scared that we're not going to get anything better. So one other thing, did anybody retire? Transaction log. Only a tight end, but he wasn't our main tight end. So we brought him in mid last season, actually. So, okay. For money purposes, do I cut the top 2 wide receivers on our team? I don't think that they're bad wide receivers. I just think that we're definitely overpaying for them at this point. Let's do it. Cutting both of them. Obviously, they're not working out too well with our quarterback. So we need to find something to bolster that game better than them. And with that, let me just also look real quick. Okay. Even though we have to fill in a number of slots on our roster, between free agency and the draft, we shouldn't have any problem filling in this. So we should basically just target best players to upgrade our team at this point, and see kind of where that takes us. Begin free agency. Here we go. Before we do anything, let's just check where we are on the draft board. We're 19th, which is oops, I clicked print. Which is not a position that I tend to like too much. Obviously, top 10 is ideal, but definitely in that like 15 to 25 range, I always have a hard time predicting who's going to be available. So we'll see how we do there. But we got to go through free agency first. Let's take a quick look at the gray sheet. Look at that. There's a top quarterback hitting the market. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so now, granted, Kansas City did not re-sign him, so maybe they're thinking the same thing I am. This guy's passing touchdowns are honestly not that much better than ours, which is kind of interesting. Looking at this though, I don't think this guy's really going to be that big of an upgrade. So we're not targeting this guy. So there are 2 wide receivers on here. Maybe we should go for one of these 2. Let's start with re-signing our guys and then see how much money we have left here. All right. The center. He's in for his contract year and his rankings are ridiculous. That being said, he did get hurt last year, which normally means that he won't be asking for a ridiculous amount. Let's take a look here. We have to look at our franchise player salaries. Negotiate. Oh, even though he got injured, it looks like he's going to get paid a crap ton. Oh, jeez. He's almost looking to increase the top paid center position by 50%. Here's my thoughts on this. I think we just let him play out his contract because we're only paying him $3 million this year. We let him play that. If he actually is good and our running game takes off and things like that, we can then franchise him. But there is zero chance I'm signing him for this much money. So on to the next player. All right, this inside linebacker, let's just take a look really quickly at how he's done. He definitely had a down year, but 2 years before he went for 116 and 130 tackles. So let's go ahead, see what his injury was. Okay, he does have a list of injuries, but they're spread out throughout his career. Let's see what he's asking for. Oh, he's not asking for much at all. Oh, he's asking to be like a top 20. Okay, you're getting re-signed, buddy. And that will probably be his final contract. He'll probably actually retire on that contract with our team. So that's a cool little story. He stuck with us throughout his entire career. We have Watanabe here. Again, not even asking to be a top 20. And he's been awesome for us. Again, he's slowly decreasing, but his rankings are still ridiculous. So also, at least as of right now, he's really the only target for our quarterback. All right, let's see. Here's a guard who's on contract year, not asking for much at all. I have to say, I'm really happy that our guys are not asking for much, basically across the board. This guy went for 90 tackles basically the past 2 years. He's asking for 15. Again, not even a top 20. One of our defensive ends. Defensive ends get paid a lot. He's actually not asking that much for a defensive end. And yeah, he's considered one of our starters, so we'll go ahead and re-sign that. Our punter's up. I mean, he has decent ratings and he increased, and he's asking for almost nothing, so we'll go ahead and re-sign him. Here's a middle linebacker that we should re-sign. I am going to re-sign this guy just because we need some outside linebackers and we're not sure if we're going to get anything better. Here's a corner. Not asking for much at all. Guard that's dirt cheap. If nothing else, he's a good bench for us. Here's another safety. Awesome. And here's our top rated wide receiver who is not too good. He went for 254 yards last year. That's just fantastic. Now he's willing to actually restructure his deal so that we save about $1 million on him this year, and then he'll sign for 2 additional years for almost, I shouldn't say almost nothing, but it's a very low deal. So we'll go ahead and sign him. All right, and then after that, we still definitely, so we basically have free reign to go any position we want that's going to increase our team here. So wide receiver should be our number 1 target. So let's hop in here. So for round 2, or stage 2, there is a wide receiver up. Let's take a look at his career. So he went 500, 600, 900, 900, almost 1100. And then last year he had a down year back to about 600. Never been a big touchdown guy. What's his bars look like? His bars are decent. What's he asking for? Up to 24 million, which actually is not that much. For wide receiver, that would put him around basically a top 20. Which, according to his stats, that probably makes sense. We'll go ahead and try signing this guy. But let's think about this. 24 million, 16 million, 20 million, 24 million. Gosh dang it, I put too many zeros. 24, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So we'll try to offer him a 3-year deal for 84 million. Then if he doesn't take that, we'll then have a good baseline for the guy that's supposed to go next round. All right, he did not sign with us. He signed a 4-year deal for 116. Okay. So here's the other option. This guy went for 200, 600, 900, 1200, 1100, almost 1600, and then he had a down year down to 700. This guy actually looks like a better wide receiver. The other interesting thing is this guy's only 5'8", 185 pounds. So he's definitely a smaller guy. Now, getting downfield, I'm not too worried about because we're not really a long passing team. Both our quarterback isn't and our offensive scheme isn't. All right. What do we have to do to make sure we get this guy? What did the other guy sign for? He did a 4-year, basically $120 million. Okay, and I feel like this guy is actually the better option. So, even though he's asking for less, I think we have to offer him basically a lot more than what we're looking at here. So let's do $30 million. We'll bump him up to $20 million on his first year. Then we'll do 25 up to 30. 3 years, 105. That makes sense if we're doing it in line with the other guy. Come on. Sign with me, baby. We got him. Yes! Okay. All right. Now our quarterback. Let's just look at this real quick. We still have Watanabe. Great tight end option. We have that wide receiver in now. And we also have that other wide receiver who's rated a 50. We also have 2 running backs in the 50 range. In my opinion, this means as long as there's no key injuries, our quarterback has the weapons he needs in order to be efficient. He doesn't have to be a 5,000 passing yard guy. He doesn't need to put up 40 touchdown passes. But this should be enough to see him increase in productivity this year. With how much money we have left, we don't really have that many options here. Why is this guy not going? Is he coming off of an injury or something? He must just be asking for way too much. Because we do need an outside linebacker. Outside linebacker. He's looking to be paid basically as a top 5, which last year he went for 90 tackles and 9 sacks. So that actually doesn't seem that crazy to me. That being said, I don't think that we can afford that. So I will have to leave that to another team. Interesting that no team's gone for that yet, though. Here's the free safety that we let go. He's not asking for much at all. Let's see if he'll actually re-sign with us, because that will at least help keep our secondary intact. I think we got him. Our money dropped. Yeah, okay, we got him. The other thing that's worth checking, he might have already gone to another team. Yeah, I guess he did. I was going to say we could look into re-signing Middleton, but it looks like he already went to another team. Okay. So we're sitting at $40 million. We should... Okay. Clicked the right button there. All right. We should now look at the draft here. All right. So we basically have free reign to go for whoever's going to increase our team the best. At pick 19, we're not getting anybody in like this top section. So I would say 3rd defensive end could be a possibility. Defensive end, hard to read, but his bars remained pretty decent. Oh, those top bars are so nice. Here would be a potentially good running back. Howie Pont Briand. Briand? I have no idea how the hell to say that. And it's considered very underrated. He could definitely slip to 19th. Very overrated, so we'll mark that guy blue. Very overrated. Okay. So if Howie falls to us, maybe we'll go with him. But let's keep going down this list. There are 2 wide receivers listed here. That guy's bars don't look good at all. This guy, on the other hand, could be a lovely side option to the guy we just got because they're basically completely different builds. Oh, I actually really hope I can get that guy. All right, let's keep looking here, though. Let's interview this guy. Very overrated, so let's not deal with him. I don't feel like we need an inside linebacker, but at 19, it's not a bad idea to just go for top on the board, and that inside linebacker could very well be a top linebacker remaining. There is a decent safety, which is another thing that I've talked about in the past that I would love to have a good safety. Ooh, very overrated. Okay. I don't feel like boosting more to our offensive line is a worthwhile thing. If anything, I think that I should get a center in case we can't re-sign that guy we currently have. If there's a backup quarterback, that would also be a decent thing to bring in. I'll mark him. He might go to like round 3 as a quarterback there. Actually, I guess he's considered like a top 5 quarterback, so actually he probably won't. Ooh, that is a nice. But there's no way he lasts until 19. Not even worth interviewing then. Let's see. Here are some centers, which I was just saying we might need to look into replacing. He's considered overrated, but his bars were still decent. So I'll mark him. Jamie Watkins. Yeah, there's no way that guy lasts until 19. You know what? Just in case by chance he does, I'm still going to interview him. Okay, I think that I would still actually prefer Howie, but I'll leave this guy red. All right, we have a number of options now for our first pick. Let's find somebody that is a potential kind of sleeper pick for the later rounds. Let's look for like a rushing outside linebacker. Like this guy, right? This guy's listed as an outside linebacker, fits as a defensive end, really good 40 time. And I'm really just looking for that pass rush for this kind of player. I don't think that this guy's going to last until round 2, though. What about this guy down here that didn't do the combine? Honestly, his bars are fine, but he's not the kind of player I'm looking for. Here's a guy, or at least our scouting thinks he's very good at pass rush, pass strength. Let's interview it. Very overrated. Wonderful. Okay. So that didn't work out for us, and that was our final interview. So go. All right. Amateur draft, here we come. We'll set it on faster and pause a couple of times here just to see. So went cornerback, running back, tackle, quarterback. I just want to say it's very interesting. The two top players on the board were quarterbacks, and they went at 4 and 5. Just a little bit of a surprise there. 2 wide receivers, outside linebacker, wide receiver, running back, safety, wide receiver. Let me pause for a second here. Okay. So, does that mean that all the wide receivers I was interested in already went? Wow. That is, teams loaded up on wide receivers. Okay, which means the best shot that I stand of boosting my offense right now is if Howie drops to me. Let's let like 2 more picks go. If it gets to Atlanta's pick, I might look at trading up for this guy. Is that worth it though? I already have 2 running backs in the mid to high 50s. Now that I say that, I actually don't know if that's worth it. Let's take a look here. He actually fell to me. Okay. So we either go defensive end, or we hope that this... To be honest, we're kind of stacked at defensive end. Well, at least we have 2 really good starters. Running back, we have 2 decent options, so Howie would really need to be a very good player in order to get in to my running game. I'm just looking at the top other players that we've left here. There's actually one running back that's above him, mainly I think because his combine scores are absolutely nuts, but his bars don't look as good. Alright. I've been saying that we need offensive weapons. If nothing else, this is a 3rd running back that we can throw into the running back game. Let's try it. Alright, we'll now switch over to fastest. Okay. So, there's still this center that we could pull in. It's actually not that far of a reach to go for him. If we sort by grade, he's actually one of the top 3 remaining skill positions here. So I'm actually going to do that. Let's go ahead and select him. Alright, back to any. So this quarterback that I was saying we might be able to bring in as a backup is still here. We have Casey, what's his name though? So I might wait and see if this guy falls another round. Here's an outside linebacker that actually looks decent. Let's go for him actually. Alright. So the quarterback did remain here, so at this point I think I am going to go ahead and nab him. Alright. So now, let's just take a quick look at the team needs page here. The game still says that we need defensive tackle, fullback, and guard. If we look at player distribution, the only thing that we actually need right now, at least for drafting purposes, would be tight end. We don't have a fullback, so maybe getting one of those would be worthwhile. And guard, we have enough, so I don't think I'm going to be too worried about that. Let's see what fullbacks are sitting here. Ugh. Alright, I don't think I'm going to be on fullback. See if we can fill in. Wait, was it tight end? Now I'm already blanking. Defensive tackle. Here we need a tight end. Okay. This guy has really high run blocking, which is something we've said we need. However, I'm never a fan of going like a one-dimensional guy like this. I just feel like if he's on the field, the other team's going to know it's a running play. So this guy has kind of more decent blocking across the board. Not too good at the passing game, though. That's enticing. That guy might be there next round, though. I'm going to red him. Let's take a look at the defensive tackles, since the game says we do need one of those. Really good run defense, really good pass rush technique. We'll select that guy. I'm surprised the game says we need a defensive tackle. We have two nose tackles that are both absolutely stacked. So, I don't know. Just once again, something I'm not fully following, but... Alright, and then we're sitting here. I think I might just take best remaining, which, oh my gosh, I said that like they get some crappy player. This guy's ratings are actually looking really nice. Okay. Alright. Let's go. Alright. Let's see how that draft actually went, because that actually seemed like a good draft. Alright, so that center we got looks like he'll progress to around a 70. So he could be a decent fallback if this guy ends up being way too expensive. The outside linebacker we got in the 7th round is rated to actually become a 60. Running back is set to be a 59. The other outside linebacker is set to be a 55. And then all the other draft picks aren't on the board right now. Nose tackle set to be a 50. Okay. You know what, though? I wish that Howie Punt Brand, I don't know, the running back that we drafted in the first round, wish that he was looking like a higher score. But the fact that we got a center, a running back, and two outside linebackers that look like they could be starters for us, I'm not complaining. Alrighties. We do not have a lot of money to play with right now, so let's mainly look. Oh, of course, these freaking guys are asking for contracts. Actually, he's not looking to get paid that much more, so that's fine with me. Only thing we specifically need is a long snapper, but I am also going to see if a wide receiver slipped through the draft here. There's a fullback that might have slipped through the draft, which we don't have a fullback on our roster right now, so that might be worth bringing in. I am not seeing a wide receiver yet. Here's the top wide receiver that maybe slipped through the draft. We're going to offer him a 1-year contract. Basically $2 million for the year. And then we have to get ourselves our long snapper. Just go for the highest rated rookie. That's always my thing with the long snappers. All right. Signed fullback, signed wide receiver. And come on, long snapper. Harry McGee. This is your year, buddy. You have been surrounded now by one of the best looking stat teams that I want to say I've ever had in 8 or 7. Let's take a look at how this starting lineup looks after training camp. But right now, Harry McGee, if you do not prove yourself this year, you are probably not going to be with us after this episode. I'll put it that way. All right. Simulate through the exhibitions or preseason here. We're then going to simulate week 1. That will give us a better idea of our lineup. All right, we won 33-10. Now, I don't think we were versing that good of a team, but that is a higher scoring game than we're used to seeing. So let's take a look here. Harry McGee, starting quarterback. Running back, we're starting Dustin Fields, which is a little bit weird considering we have the rookie. We also have Pedro, but let's say Pedro's hurt. Okay. All right. Understandable. Let's see. Tight end. We got Watanabe, but it looks like he's hurt. Strained tricep muscle. Okay, he'll be back, though. We then have Ricky Snyder. He's the big guy that we pulled in off of free agency. We have Arnold Fuller, who's only rated a 40. Don't we have another wide receiver that's a somewhat decent rating? Ricky Blair. Oh, okay, we have Ricky Blair. I think that's the other guy that I was looking for. Okay, I see. Yeah. All right. Our offensive line, 52, 68, 93, 51, 69. That has to be one of the top offensive lines right now in the league. Our front 7, good. Or 61, 52, 64, 50, 54, 50, 40. Are you kidding me? That is awesome. And then our secondary has an 85, a 56, and then 3 40s. But you can't be perfect everywhere, you know what I mean? And look, we have all of these players that are looking so good moving forward and as backups and things like that. We have that other nose tackle that's a 75. I'm actually surprised he's not starting over Archie Blanchard. Is that how you would say that? But you know what? They're both taking snaps for sure. So, all right. I'm feeling this. Let's go. And we're 1-1. 2-1. 2-2. We'll go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and then we'll have a better idea. All right, at the trade deadline, we're 4-2. Let's take a look at our stats here. All right. Harry McGee, 1,500 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 81 passer rating. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. Even though we're 4-2, I am not feeling that quarterback line. I just don't get it. It's like our quarterbacks can't average more than 1 touchdown a freaking game. Either way, our running game is actually, well, I was going to say looking decent, but it's actually not. If we look here, we're still ranked 25th for yards per carry. All right. We are passing that ball around. It looks like Snyder is our top option now for our quarterback, which is cool. Our defense is looking very good. You'll see here, if we just look at the rank numbers here, almost everything, I would say half of these are single digits, and then the other half are still in like at least the top half. So, defense, as always, is holding our team together, apparently. So, how much money do we have? We have 23, which puts us at 3rd lowest in the league. I feel like I'm missing something. I do not understand how our running game can potentially be this bad. Let's see. Harry McGee also has a sprained ankle. That's lovely. Okay. All right. I don't think that it's worth at this point right now to throw some crazy player into the mix. If Harry McGee ends up not panning out, I think next off season is going to be the time to try dealing him. So here we go. We're 4-3. We're 4-4. We're 4-5. We're 5-5. We're 6-5. We're 6-6. Let's see. It looks like we have 4 games left. Let's go ahead and try our little playoff probability chart here. All right, right now we're only looking at about give or take about a 40% chance of making it. Let's take a look at the full standings real quick just to get a better idea here. All right, so our best chance is to win our division. Right now, Houston is up a game on us. So the best chance we have right now is beating them for our divisional position. Actually, there really aren't that many teams in the AC that are that high above 500. So that's why so many teams are still in the running here. All right. You know what? I'm always a big fan of, once you're in the playoffs, it's its own thing. But those couple of weeks leading into the playoffs, they set you up for success in the playoffs. So let's see how our team does. We're going up against Atlanta. This would be a big game for us to take this win. Didn't get it. Here's our game against Houston. This is actually probably the biggest game we have remaining. So we have to win this one. If we don't win this one, then we're basically done. We took it. All right, now we're going up against New Orleans, who it looks like they're set to destroy us. Again, this would be a big game for us going into playoffs here. So hopefully we get it. Nope. And then Indianapolis, we should win this one. That would put us at 8-8, which, let's just take a quick look at the full standings. I am pretty confident that we do not have this. I'm not going to run the playoff probability thing again, but just looking at this, Houston beat us, which means they should go above us here. We're not out, but there would probably have to be a number of things to fall into place here. So we did win. Do we get in at 8-8? The game's about to tell us, y'all. Does not look like it. I assume that we would be in the wild card. I can't imagine we would get further than that. Yeah, okay, so we did not make playoffs at 8-8. We'll go ahead and simulate out the rest of the playoffs here. For the championship, we have Kansas City versus New Orleans. Kansas City takes it. All right. We'll go ahead and save. And let's just do a little bit of a kind of debriefing here. We're going to start out with the biggest question mark here in Harry McGee. He started all 16 games for 3,800 yards, 19 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I mean, technically he had a better year than last year, if we look at passer rating and things like that, but let me just make sure that I'm not going crazy here. So let me figure out the best way to look at this real quick. Team statistics. Is that what I want? I think I want individual statistics. All right. So only for this year, passing, and I want passing touchdowns. Am I going crazy? Why does this not sound good to me? Top quarterback in the league threw for 26 touchdowns. There were 3 of them. Hold up, let me go back a year. Here one went for 33 passing touchdowns. Here one went for 34. So, okay, maybe I am taking a little bit of crazy pills here. Harry McGee is actually not doing as poorly as I thought he was. I think in my fantasy football brain and things like that, I'm so used to our Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees throwing for freaking 40 touchdowns in a season. So apparently this is actually somewhere around over the past couple of years, he's actually been somewhere around 10th in the league for, well, not that year, but he's been somewhere around 10th in the league for passing touchdowns. Okay. I just keep going back and forth. I don't feel like this is a good enough situation for us. I mean, our defense is still just obliterating teams. Our offense, our running game did increase to basically exactly middle in the league. We actually didn't do half bad this year. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that our team went 8-8 with the look of these stats. Almost every single stat on here points to us being at least top half team. Normally when we look at teams that, who won? Kansas City? So here, obviously, they have top rushing offense by a long shot. Their pass offense is pretty darn bad. So they're a super run heavy team, but it works for them. And look, their defense wasn't even that great. They're just so good at this running game. Let's take a quick look at I feel like there's got to be something I'm missing, because their offense numbers, at least, don't seem that good to me. I mean, their offensive line looks worse than our offensive line. Their offensive weapons do not seem better than ours. Their quarterback, not looking much better. Their defense is clearly not as good as ours, at least rating-wise. This leads me to feel like I need to point fingers at my coaching staff. Maybe this head coach is driving us the wrong way. Because looking at these stats now, who actually gives these stats? Hold up. Let's see, I think that's in here. Scouted by Merchburger. Who the hell is that? I don't even have a Merchburger on my team. Who the hell's Merchburger? Merchburger. Some unemployed guy? What the hell? Now I'm so confused. Why the hell is this guy being rated by Merchburger? Hold up. Each year, a venerable and respected coach is hired to direct a scouting effort for the entire league. This is done before training camp and after week 2 of the exhibition season. Players are scouted for future potential. So basically, just a random person is selected to rate each one. Hold up. Maybe this is where I've been going wrong. I thought that this was done by somebody on your team. I'm feeling really confused now. So this Merchburger person is in charge of scouting everyone? Hold up. Let me look at one other thing here. Where this thing is. All right, you know what? I'm not sure which thing I need to look under here. I'm going to look into this and report back next episode. Because I thought that these ratings came from your own staff. The fact that it comes from somebody that seems completely random is throwing me off. But before we do that, let's just take one quick look here at season awards. See if anybody on our team made it. We did not make a single player into the Pro Bowl. So just another overall down year. But we'll see going into next season here. Next season, we should have a decent draft pick, which will be nice. Actually, let's say we might actually have a top 10 pick next year. So that will be nice for us. And hopefully we'll be able to get back into playoffs. If you guys are sticking around for it, thank you so much. And until then, AyyScare out.